past, fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now, get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kure here. And now, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Deku. And well, quite a bit of things have happened. Now, Deku, in the last part, he was hired by Momo Yaoyorozu to train her. However, All Might, he's quite curious about Deku. Deku, after their sparring match, he felt like he would be a good successor to One for All. The only problem was his attitude whenever he's at full power, without the quirk. Now, All Might, he's very worried. This boy, he just seems so fucking psychotic at full power. But even then, he's still more sane and more humane than most cures that he's ever met. It's quite crazy for him to think about. The cures from the day they're born, they're basically psychopaths. It's almost, well, sad in a way. Now, All Might, he does wish to train Deku, try and at least get him to gain control over that full power form, before he doesn't even let him touch One for All. Now, with that being said, as that was happening, you did actually have where Momo should actually hire Deku's cousin, Saki Kure, to actually train her in Deku's stead. She does understand that All Might, he does wish to give Deku a power, and she's actually somewhat happy that Deku told her about this. Yeah, that's good. He's the successor for another power. That's alright. But at the same time, she does still follow Deku's regime, or routine, that he's laid out for her. Saki will be coming to train her in Deku's stead. Meanwhile, we do currently have Deku. On the days that he does train with All Might, he actually is very much, well, to put it in a way, learning. Now, it seemed kind of odd. Deku thought that All Might was going to make him meditate and even do this type of stuff. However, really, it seems more like it's just combat training to gain control over that form, and even actually trying to sit down and just talk to the boy. Try and find out the problems that are going on in his head. Now, it was very strange for Deku. It took him a few months, but he did do it. He gained control of that form. It just seems so hard to do. And even then, he doesn't have full control over it. His body does still shake, but he does at least have a strange aura of calm around him. And even then, the bloodlust he does admit when using his removal has slightly gone down. Now, All Might, he actually did feel this one day, and he knew that there was already vast improvements to it. If he's lucky, Deku can get that bloodlust to be virtually not there. And it did seem kind of intriguing to him. Now, we do actually currently have where All Might does inform Deku that today is his day off, and that he really should, more or less, just take a break. Now, Deku, he was actually kind of alright with this. Yeah, he can take a break right now. But even then, he just doesn't feel right. If there's something in his chest that doesn't feel right, it's just he broke the deal he made with Momo. Yeah, he promised to come back during the last month, but at this rate, the way he's currently working at, he's gonna not do it. Sure, he can try, but if he breaks that promise, then it makes him feel strange. Now, Deku actually does ask All Might about this as he was going to leave. Now, All Might, he was kind of surprised hearing the way Deku phrased the sentence. Why does he feel strange whenever he thinks about breaking a promise? Hmm? Young man, are you serious? Yes, All Might. I have this weird feeling. It's just, I don't understand it. It's similar to this one thing I felt before, but I don't get that either still. Hmm? You feel bad, young man? Hmm? Is that the word for it? Bad. I feel remorse. Hmm? Young man, did you say something? Nothing, All Might. It's just, I'm thinking a bit. Now, All Might, he actually is surprised at Deku's progress. Sure, the bloodlust was a good sign, but this is better. The boy, he's got a sense of guilt? Now, All Might was quite happy with this. And there actually was Deku. He's trying to think about everything he's done in the past. The fact that he's murdered quite a few people as a child. And even then, all the fights he's gotten into. The people he's recklessly hurt. The people who they have, well, aggravated him, but he put them in hospitals. They seem to just be minor inconvenience. Sure, there were times where he did get stabbed. Well, a chair broken over him, beat with a bat, he got tased, pepper sprayed, and even punched in the throat. Only in that time someone did try to go for his eyes. But even then, he just felt strange. Now, All Might, he did like this, as he actually informed young Midoriya, or young Kure, that if he does wish to go check up on Momo, and even his other companions, that he can do so today. However, if he also does want to just take the day off, he can do it tomorrow, just to give him a heads up. Now, Deku, he actually is going to thank All Might immediately, as he actually does go to look somewhat confused for a second. And All Might, he's even more surprised by that. Now, Deku, he does quickly leave, as he does try to think. Him being able to get a ride, or let's just say, running across town to Momo's house. As he does arrive, he does actually just hop over the gate. And whenever he does walk in, he actually does start to look around. He looks at the training area that he's left behind. It looks a lot more torn up. And then there's even the grass. Part of it looks like it's been stomped down. So they've been training around here more? Now, Deku actually just woke up as something they did see him in the window. Them immediately going to at least try to stall Deku for a second, as another maid does go running through the hallways trying to inform Monsieur Yorozu that a visitor has arrived. Now, we actually do have Momo, who she was quite exhausted. She did actually start following Deku's routine. However, Saki, whenever she did arrive and at least look over what Deku gave her, she looked very confused. And Momo, she was kind of caught off guard by this. Saki just asking if this is really what he left for her. Yeah, he did. It's supposed to get more intense. Intense? You can't be serious. This is it? These are warm-ups. Oh, warm-ups? Yeah, for Curie at least. I doubt you could handle them. But, wait, what? Now, Momo, she does hear that. And she does feel insulted. She's calling the intense training she's been doing for the past couple months warm-ups. You can't be serious. Now, Deku does feel angry. Or Momo, she does feel angry. As she almost does snap at Saki, trying to inform her that she doesn't have her weird genetics. Momo should at least go to bite her tongue, as she does at least talk about how this is all Deku really did give her. He said that he'll at least give her some kure training in the final month. And there actually was where Saki did look right at Momo, and she'd actually go to size her up. Her actually asking Momo to hold up one of her arms, as Momo should actually do that, going to flex her bicep. And Saki, she basically did at least do a exam on Momo, checking to see exactly where she does lie physically. And she was very disappointed. With the rate I'm seeing, I don't think you'll be able to do it. What? Yes. Which means we're gonna start our own training. It will be a lot more intense than this paper my cousin has left. I think he's going soft. Now, you do actually have where Saki, she does actually start to put Momo through it. And we will actually cut back to the current day, where Deku, whenever he does walk up to the manor and the door does open, he's allowed in. As the maid does talk about how the Miss Yorozu and her companions were finishing training just up today. Alright. Now, it's very surprising. Deku, they should be resting today. So why are they training? Now, as he does walk in and go to sit down somewhere, he does wait. And there is one of her Momo, she actually does walk into the room, along with Kirishima, Mina, and Kendo. Now, Deku finds it to be quite surprising. It's been 4 months since he's seen all of them. And right now, they look a little bit different. Deku, whenever he does see them, he's very surprised. Momo, she actually does look physically on par with Kirishima. And Kirishima, she actually is a little bit more buffer. And that kind of surprises Deku. Along with even Kendo. And Mina. Mina, she's kind of the most surprising. Whenever she gets serious, apparently she can do a lot of things. So, that's pretty interesting to him. Now, Deku, he was very confused for a second, until Saki walked into the room and asked her cousin if he does appreciate what she's been doing. Saki? Yes. It's been a while, cuz. What are you doing here? Now, everyone, they're very confused. They know the whole kure thing about family, so does he mean cousin as in direct cousin or distant? Now, they don't really bring this up in front of the two, as Saki does explain that she was training Miss Yorozu in his stead, since he basically abandoned it to go fight somebody. What? I didn't abandon it. We made a deal. And you didn't adhere to it. You did not follow through like a kure. It's a shame. Now, Momo, she was want to actually try and bring this to the attention. She agreed to what Deku said. No. Momo does at least explain that he was fighting All Might. And Saki, the moment she does actually hear that, she has actually looked right at Momo. All Might? Yes. Her looking back towards her cousin. I was fighting him. In fact, I beat him the first time we fought. Now, this does actually take Saki aback. Deku abandoned a contract to try and start a rivalry with the #1 hero. At one time, on one hand, she understands. On the other hand, Deku, his pride is a kure. His pride, as a potential candidate for leadership in the future, is at stake here. If Deku is known as a deal-breaking kure, he will be hunted. And that's the whole thing about that. She doesn't want to kill her cousin, but she will if she does have to in the future. Now, Saki, she has at least explained to Deku. She increased their training regiment closer to that of a kure, and they have all made drastic improvements stepping forwards. Now, it does seem very surprising, and Deku he can't help but keep staring at one of these four, as he does actually ask if they're all free right now. And they all do talk about how they are. Now, Deku he does actually talk about how they should all probably at least go out to eat somewhere, since it's been a while and he does wish to understand what his cousin has put all of them through. Now, this kind of does take them aback. He wants to spend time with them. He wants to talk to them. He doesn't want to train. Now, Saki actually does deny that request, talking about how they all have to stick to their dietary routine. And Deku does look at his cousin, talking about how they can deviate from it once in a while. Now, Saki, she actually does reinforce that statement. They have to stick to it. Those are her orders. And they will not go against them if they do not wish to fail in the future. Now, Deku and his cousin are staring right at each other. It's quite obvious here these two are about to fight. And their actions where Saki should just call them out. As the two they do go outside and do get ready to fight. Everybody they are currently watching these two, as whenever Saki does rush towards Deku to fight him with her removal, everyone they do see it. The power of the removal mixed with a quirk. Mainly Saki, she does go for slashing attacks, and she also tries to at least aim for certain arteries and nerves. If you can take them out, the arm or the limb they're attached to is essentially useless. So, Deku can tell by her trying to fight him that she's actually someone using assassination techniques. And Deku, while he is impressed at her own improvements, he does actually notice that she's a lot more like her uncle, her father. Now, Deku, he does fight Saki, and Saki, she's very impressed. Deku's able to dodge and even sometimes tank the attack. Sure, she does still cut into his skin, but it doesn't think that's just it. It only looks shallow cuts. He's still able to use the arms. And she does actually get annoyed by that. Now, there actually is whenever Saki does go rushing in. And there actually is whenever Deku does actually go to throw out his hand and directly grab his cousin by her throat. Deku getting a lot more serious as he does quickly blitz her in speed and go to smash her right into one of the trees that he did put up months ago. Now, Deku smashed her right through 1, 2, 3, 4 different logs, before finally smashing his cousin right into the ground. And there actually was where she was just kind of surprised, as Deku did just hold her there talking about how he's going to be taking his students out for lunch, and she needs to be aware. While she did increase their training, they are going to be very much exhausted. Now, this does confuse her, asking her cousin what he does mean. And Deku does try to explain it. More intense training over short periods of time. While it does show increases in strength and speed, along with even nowadays, there is actually the fact that that muscle, it would need to be maintained with that amount of extreme exercise. And, well, routine. Now, Deku does talk about it to his cousin. She basically put show muscle on to these people, not functional muscle that can be maintained easier. Now, her cousin is very annoyed, and after at least somewhat passing out, she does actually kind of understand a bit. She's just trying to make them look pretty, if you don't want to put it that way. Deku was trying to make them functional, if that does make sense. Now, you do actually have where Deku, he does get to set his cousin down inside. As, after knocking her out, she does actually at least seem a lot more calmed down. And the five, they actually go out to eat somewhere. They were kind of impressed. Deku, he easily took apart his cousin like that. They're kind of curious about it. and they do start to ask questions. Meanwhile, for Deku, he does at least try to explain everything about that. His cousin, her removal is lower, and that does mean that he's fought her father, who is stronger. Not only physically, because of his experience in longer lifespan, but because of his removal being higher. Now, while they actually are out to eat, there is actually whenever somebody they are sitting down in the restaurant. And they do actually see the guy they haven't seen in months. Now, they're very curious. He's in town? He lives here? That's weird. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.